right? So
Yeah, no. What was I saying?
Not yet, Alberta girl.
Yeah, so it would make sense to call the election now and keep up with the momentum. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to say. So, what is it? A couple days ago, Trump was saying how he would prefer to deal with a liberal government, and now the conservatives and PP are like, see, we're more scary than they are. I'm like, no, you idiots. It's Trump. He's using this as a fucking way of manipulating people to thinking that.
Yes.
Because he is terrified of the liberal government because he knows that's where the experience and education's at. Get a fucking life.
yeah, and even after he made those comments, just quickly, he did go on another interview and say that he loved working with conservative government. So he just says whatever the hell.
Of course he does. He even said, like, back in the fall, right, that he would prefer to work with Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives when the Conservatives had the majority at the
Didn't
time.
Putin say the same thing about Trump? That he'd rather work with what's her name? Sorry, brain fart.
Oh yeah, Kamala. You're right.
Just they're attempting reverse psychology.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is
Yeah,
crazy
PP.
because it works.
Give them PP. Here, take them. Have them. Keep them. Love him.
Now, I've made this point on this topic already, but how many, like, when you think about it, how many maple megas right now are glitching out and foaming at the mouth because they don't know what to do, given that Trump said what he said. But yet they're conservative voters on typically, of course. But so I wonder how many are glitching out and their brain just doesn't compute.
Yeah, well, one thing I would love to know is so the whole convoy energy that was out there for fucking freedom and going in support of Canada, I'd love to know where that energy's gone because I'm not seeing that same energy from that same fucking group.
Well, because they're the ones that actually want to become part of the
The
United
51st
States.
state.
Of course, so don't be flying the flag pretending that you're this Canadian person or fucking group, whatever. Like you're full of shit.
The ones that claim they're the biggest Canadian patriots want to fold into another country, and it really shows their true colors.
It's insane. I'm just trying to look up right now. I know Pierre Poilievre voted against same-sex marriage, which is fucking hilarious because his adoptive father, I believe, is gay himself. So,
Bio dad.
huh?
I thought it was the bio dad.
I don't think it's bio. So he voted against it twice. So in 2005 and 2006.
Oh, is that why they had to adopt?
Okay, so he was adopted shortly after birth by two school teachers, blah, 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 blah. So when he was a teenager, his parents separated, and his father, Donald, later came out as gay.
Changing that info in my brain.
Yeah, well, I heard from some people, I heard the narrative that, oh, well, no, it wasn't his real dad, it was his stepdad. I'm like,
Ew.
First of all, if you're the adoptive dad, you're the real dad. Get a fucking life.
Yeah, like you raised them. Like what?
Exactly.
If
Pierre votes
conservatives get in,
against everything, pretty much.
if conservatives get in, and the states manage to pass these overturn same-sex marriages, I think Canada will follow suit.
Dan, can we do a quick poll? Just like, I know there's just 20 people in here, but can we just do a poll to see where people would vote if it was like today? I just want to see like how many people would actually. I'm just curious. If you're busy, that's okay.
That's a good poll.
I'm just curious. You know, I voted. I'm not like a a constant Liberal voter. I've voted NDP many a times, probably more times than Liberal, to be honest. However, this time I feel like I don't, we don't have
We don't have
enough
a
to fuck around
choice.
with. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we
really
don't have a
don't at this
choice.
point.
No, we don't have a choice, sadly.
Yeah.
I'll make a poll. I don't think Dang's
Thank you. I don't even know if Dang's
No
there,
problem.
to be honest. Thanks.
No problem.
I think she just comes in
Curious.
to say first and then she bounces.
That tracks.
When she's like the 27th.
If they work together instead of, yeah, fair. Well, they kind of did. They did this time around, right? Like they did build a coalition, and it seemed pretty fruitful.
Yeah,
I suspect we'll see that kind of energy happen again.
I hope so. That makes sense, right? Give them work together. Don't bash each other. Give a clear, concise run, and
Mandate plan.
yeah,
Who's talking 51st state?
I'm gonna mute that one in a minute.
Yeah, there's a comment about vote Mark Carney if you want to become the 51st state. That's so backwards. I don't even know the process.
It's totally backwards. Doesn't even make sense.
Hey JD, how are you?
It's nutty. I told somebody yesterday, they're like, Mark Carney is not my PM. I'm like, yeah, he is, cope.
Yeah.
Just fucking deal
It's
with it.
ridiculous how people don't, like, if you don't understand politics, don't open your mouth. End of.
I know.
That's
this
a
whole
full
narrative about
stop
like
statement.
Canadians didn't even vote him in. I'm like, Canadians followed the process that is required in such a situation. That's what Canada did.
Exactly.
You know,
I had a vote.
There we go. Polls up.
Oh, thank you.
Polls up.
Guys, polls
I
up.
was
I
gonna
just
get-
want to see how you'd be voting.
I was going to get super creative and just call the conservatives fascists, but then I thought, no, I want people to actually vote. So,
Yeah.
so I
just want to
changed it
see like
back
what
to
people would be
conservative.
voting.
Lions, right?
Guys, get in there. There's
Announcing that
just
he's
four.
Moose, are
Indigenous.
you going to vote NDP?
Our area is NDP.
Oh,
I
okay.
think
I will too.
NDP, so because that's what I've voted in the past. So that's what I put until I see the platforms and all the candidates. I really can't say definitively.
And I don't know what the smart vote is for our area, but it's probably NDP. Our area has been NDP
Yeah.
for a very long time. So,
Our representative, though, for our riding for the NDP is stepping aside, and we'll have a new NDP. Actually, I think they've already named one. I just haven't had the time to go and look into things yet. But that's
So,
in that world.
interestingly enough, right now, like I traditionally vote based on my geography and location and who's going to help me better in my immediate community. But this time around, with this kind of threat when it comes to Trump, I don't know. For me personally, I'm voting a little different this time. I'm choosing to look at it like more as a countrywide issue as opposed to just a local issue for me.
Well, and that's the big
Because I am
nuance that
fucking
Canadians-
worried.
Well, that's the biggest nuance that Canadians need to realize is, yes, we need to look at our local candidates, which, like I said, that's what I do right off the hop. But we also, have to look federally because at the end of the day, and I explained this earlier on Nikki's live, where the candidate that you're going to vote for locally really falls under the umbrella of the mandate and the platform of the party as a whole normally, just with more kind of broken down policies for their riding as well. But the core values essentially go across party. So, I mean, you have to look at both if we're going to be honest in terms of, if you're going to vote, whether it's
I'll be
strategically
honest
or if
with
you're
you,
going to
Moose.
vote.
As much
I
as
was
I
gonna-
love NDP, I don't think
Yeah.
that NDP leadership going up against Trump in this time would be something that's productive for this country. And I love Jagmeet.
Yeah, like that's my I guess point or question is voting NDP, whether we love them or not, right now strategically is not a safe vote. They don't have a chance of winning, and
Okay,
we need to make
Farrell.
that depends though. So that's why you have to
On
look
what?
at your strategic voting. NDP is often a strategic vote in federal to keep conservatives out, depending on what area you live in. Your strategic vote is based on where you live and those in that riding, right? So we can't say that NDP isn't a strategic vote. In Moose, again, in Moose in my area, we have the same MP, and NDP is typically actually the strategic vote for our area.
for your area, but I'm talking about Canada as a whole.
Yeah, that's what we were saying. Like, I'm looking
Yeah, but
at
we
it
don't
a little
I'm not
different
talking
this
about-
time around.
But we don't
Like, you don't
vote
have a
Canada
Liberal
as a
Party.
But you can look at it that way, yes.
You can look at it that way. We
And that's
don't
why I said-
want to vote for conservatives, so
Okay,
if
so
we don't.
again, yeah, I get what you're saying, but we don't vote across the country, right? You have to
I know
look
how-
at
I know
your
this.
area.
I know this. But strategically, right now, we don't want a chance of a conservative win. So
Mhm.
for me,
Yeah,
it would be
you're
to
saying-
vote
you're-
Liberal.
You're saying
Yeah,
the same
that's-
thing before, but I think where the disconnect
Mhm.
is the strategic voting only works within ridings. It doesn't work on an overall across Canada. You to strategically vote, you have to do it on your local, not based on the full party. Right? And that's why I said earlier, like you have to use the nuance of absolutely. I'll agree with Snarky that I don't think the leader of the NDP will get them to a quote unquote win. Right? So that's where when you're looking at your politicians, whether it be the party leader or party as a whole, or your local candidate, in this case, me normally being an NDP voter, I'm going to be leaning more heavily on my local riding and what things look like that way. And I mean, credit where credit's due. If Carney can, persuade me, I'll vote Liberal because I think it would be in the best interest of Canada as a whole on a provincial, federal, and local level because really the Liberals as a party have the strongest platform when it comes to the things we're facing, when it's tariffs and stuff from the United States, when it comes to diversifying trade, whether within our own borders or on a global level. So far, like they're out of the gate right now, even before the election's called, they're really a powerhouse when it comes to all those things right now. So I also have to take that into consideration and possibly change my vote depending on how it looks going into the end of the campaign and into the election. I might vote strategic NDP because that's my best choice that way. Or I might go with Liberal because they're the powerhouse that they are right now in terms of policy and framework that they've already talked about going into before even the election now. Later, right?
I think we should promote smartvoting.ca so people can find out who their strategic vote is.
Absolutely. Everyone, check out smartvoting.ca. It's up and going. It's readily available. And just weigh literally all your options and, look at everything because we need to be as informed as possible moving forward. And I'll use the example of my local riding for the provincial area election where, normally I vote NDP. I did this time. And the candidate that they had before had to become an independent because of shady, bad crap that they did to their staffers. So as much as I wanted to support them because they've done good for the riding, call a spade, the guy is a predator and needed to be booted out. So yeah, there's so many different avenues that we have to look at when we're voting, guys.
Yeah, like
That's my main point.
if my strategic vote is liberal, obviously I'm going to vote liberal, right? But me telling everyone vote liberal, that's where the when we split the vote, that's what it is. When we're splitting in a riding that an NDP is definitely going to win, you don't want to split the vote between NDP and liberal, right? That's why everyone has to look up their strategic voting.
No, absolutely. I agree with that fully. And again, that's for people that want to strategically vote as opposed to vote as per whatever candidate in their riding aligns more so with them, because those can conflict, right? So
Mm-hmm. I do believe Farmer is correct, Dang. That is based on polling and voting history for each riding.
Oh PT hacked my account. I'm now a Russian bot.
in Syria, Russia, vodka drink you.
What the fuck is
Matt
going
Michael,
on about?
because call were born a gender, stick to it. My mom didn't raise Mo, baby. I'm stick with God gave me. Holy fuck, dude. Stay in
Stuck?
school.
Right? Stay in school.
Jesus. Did you call in sick today?
Yeah, I just want to go
I
to
know, I'm sorry.
because
No,
wasn't
not you,
God.
Matt. I'm talking about.
Oh,
All right, Matt's coming up.
I tried to run back to my phone to mute.
What's up, pussycat?
Oh,
Oh.
oh,
Okay, bye.
hi, pussycat.
Bye, pussy Matt. I mean, pussycat.
That's true, Dang.
Oh, now Dang's here?
Yeah, now she is. Now the poll's done. There is another site, Dang. I can't remember what it was called, though. There was another site for this, too, before smart voting came up.
But this is where, okay, listen, this is where it gets tricky, and this is why I don't love the whole idea of sites, because then there's going to be some fake site that proclaims to be the same and legit and blah, 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 and it's going to share disinformation. So this is why I don't put too much stock in this stuff. I think what Lisa was saying and what I'm trying to say is the simpler version, that I feel like the country needs a liberal in. I'm going to vote a liberal to make that happen.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's the easiest way of thinking about it.
Yeah, me too.
It's also how the vote gets split. But it's fair. Everyone should vote the way they feel, right? Like,
No, everybody
I would never
should
tell
vote liberal.
someone.
I will tell
someone.
I can't, like, I heard you guys talk about earlier, like, this is, I guess it's just a difference in mentality and it's not a judgment thing, but a lot of people are like, well, my vote makes sense if I vote my. Like, for me, I can't look at this election and think I'm thinking nationally, like nationally. I'm thinking for everyone. So what I
never
want in
vote for
terms of...
me. By the way, I never
What?
vote for me. I never vote for me.
Oh, it sounded like I'm going to vote for me. I was like, what?
No, my God, no, never have I voted for me.
That's what I was like. Huh?
No, never.
Yeah,
I agree
Dang,
with
I'm with you.
Snarky,
That's what scares
nationally.
me. Without
Yeah.
So Dang says, without showing their methodology, I'm suspicious as how they determine their predictions. Exactly.
Is that-
You never know.
Is that
That's fair.
Is that JB's site?
I don't know if it's actually his site.
Who?
It's definitely
JB.
something he promotes.
Well, I've heard him
I
say
don't know
it's
who
my
that is.
site. We did that. Like I did this. Blah blah
I can
blah.
look it up.
So
Oh, that guy.
yeah,
The late night guy. He does stuff at night
Yeah.
usually. Okay.
yeah.
Oh,
That would
Yeah,
give
it
me
is
full
his
reason
site.
not to look at it. Yeah,
He
I'm
says-
not interested.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
JDB had a video saying he started it, never followed up though, and that's on me. Well, there's still time.
let's follow up now.
Go beat yourself up.
Oh.
But you don't have to donate to him, but it's a good resource. Yeah, I know. I feel like when this is maybe I'm 44. But when I start thinking about technology, I feel like there was a time where technology was actually advancing things and making things easier for us. But in this age of misinformation and disinformation, I don't fucking know what to trust anymore.
Yeah, I'm just gonna trust me, myself, and I.
Honestly.
And I mean, for me, like, I don't know if Darren is gonna run again, but Darren Fisher always runs for my area, and he's liberal, and I like Darren, so I have no
Mm.
problems voting for Darren.
I'm sure I got the right domain name. Oh,
And my neighbors get quite pissed with me when I put up his sign on my lawn. Oh,
Fuck
yeah,
them.
I am. I'm one of those.
I just genuinely do not believe that any other party but the
Oh,
Liberal Party in this time and day would be able to manage and handle what's coming out of the US. I really don't.
yeah,
I don't
that's
think the
fair. Well,
qualifications are there. I think if the Conservatives get in, it turns into a fucking rhetoric shit show and it'll get us involved in stuff that we should not be even fucking entertaining at this point. I think the bigger thing we need to talk about right now is diversifying our markets and making sure that we're trading with other people around the world. Fuck America, quite frankly.
mhm.
When this Trump reality is over, I think they will have seen that we have played and made connections elsewhere. And if they think that we will be coming back, we will not be the abused partner in a relationship to come back. Like, I hope they realize that the decisions being made will be long-standing. These will not be
Yeah,
turning around if the Democrats get in next time. Like, you
yeah,
fucked around, guys.
Yeah, it's like anything. When we see a government, regardless of whether it's United States, Canada, any country, the repercussions of what a current government does can be felt for years upon years on end, if not decades, right? So
well,
um,
Yeah.
well,
there's
Plus,
a
the
lot
deals
that
are
exactly.
can.
made for years and years to come, right? Like,
Yeah,
no country's going to be like, yeah, how about we just do this for 3 years? Like, that's not happening. They
Yeah,
also want to grow their economies.
like there is, don't get me wrong, there is stuff that once a new government gets in can repeal, especially given how the American system works, right? Executive orders, all that sort of stuff. A lot of that can be repealed by a different president afterwards, but it doesn't change the repercussions of what's already
But
taken place, and it
it
won't
also
change.
doesn't work to an advantage for us to keep doing this back and forth dance because their shit show is not handled, right?
And
Like,
yeah,
it doesn't make
and
sense
that was
for
my
us.
next point. Exactly, you
Yeah.
took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah. Because I do talk to a lot of Americans, and a lot of Americans seem to think like, they're like, oh, it's not all of us. I hope you know it's not all of us. No, we are aware that it's not all of you. However, you've allowed a lot of you to start doing this kind of shit. So I'll be honest with you, Dems, what the fuck are you doing right now? I know that this whole mentality of like, let's sit back and watch the shit show happen, but you're not supporting your own people. The people that usually vote Democrat are losing faith in the party itself. What the fuck are you doing? Chuck Schumer, what are you doing? We
The,
need the Crockett's to step up. We need to allow space for these new trailblazers to come in. Get out with the old and in with the new. It is ridiculous for us to keep playing with the fucking playbook that the Republicans have discarded and choose to ignore. Why are we doing that?
yeah, absolutely, and that can be said for Canadian politics as well, right? Like I've already said very boldly, and I stick by it, where Ontario's prime example, and I know I keep using it because that's where I live, but the parties aren't bringing their best to the party, right? To the elections, they're bringing politicians that'll toe the status quo, and it's all mundane stuff that can't can't seem to grasp the support of the general population because there's nothing in it for the general population.
Well, and I
right.
think the old guard of the Democratic Party too, they're oligarchs just as much as on the Republican side. I think it's time. I think people need to learn when it's time to step back and let the newer generations come forward. And I'm not being ageist with this. I think it's just a matter of ideologies that are changing. The world is very different.
Yeah.
I would much rather see Crockett, AOC have a voice and be able to affect change and introduce policies than hear what fucking Chuck Schumer has to say with his rich ass selling his fucking books.
Mm-hmm. So
Hi, PG.
Crockett. Good morning.
Love
I
Crockett.
can't stay long. I'm swamped at work, so I'm just gonna fucking listen for the most part. But you're not wrong on a bunch of things, right? Like all of this with the 9 states. Some of those laws happening are immediate once they were as trigger laws, right? So they were set in motion long before Roe v. Wade was overturned. Sure, cancel me, but long before they were like once Roe v. Wade was over, called trigger laws, so they were immediately switched into effect, right? Like nobody had to do anything for it. As soon as there were no federal protections, they were installed. And so this is long standing. This has been like in the works in anticipation of Roe v. Wade being overturned. Crockett, AOC, Adam Schiff, those are a few people who I am seeing are doing something about it. Is it enough? Maybe not.
Well, they're trying.
Chuck, yeah, exactly, and it's at least they're trying, but at the same time, and then you have Chuck Schumer who actually sold out recently, and then threatened to primary some of the Democrats if they don't vote for the clean resolution bill, which has allowed the Trump regime to proceed with their agenda right now. And I hate to use some of those words, but that's really what's happening. They no longer have a democracy. They're ignoring judges' orders right now.
Yep.
They've just deported a Venezuelan soccer star because of his tattoos. This is to Ecuador. He's not even from there. He had tattoos, and he was brown, I guess. And so
Dude, they have a white Canadian girl in custody.
Yeah, there's multiple. There's
She's
multiple
home now.
Canadians in custody.
Oh, she is home
She's
now?
home. Yeah, she's
The
home.
one, the one from BC is out, but there's multiple Canadians still in custody under the same premise at this point. So
Yeah, I think she arrived home
insane.
2 nights ago.
in terms of quickly,
They've been
guys,
good at playing the long game, though, with the gerrymandering and all of that stuff. And setting up. Sorry, I think I overtalked you much.
Hold on.
No, you're good, PG, and you're absolutely right. And that's I believe me and you, PG, have already talked about this, where that's essentially if you move the long game, like the United States has played, especially when it comes to Roe v. Wade, and how the trigger laws were all put in place and everything. Yes, our system's different, things are done differently, but that's essentially the conservatives here are playing the long game, right? And you're seeing where there's a lot more conversation and a lot more focus on individual provinces and how they're doing things, like the conservatives are doing things within the province
to actually dictate was due, right? Like when you think about it, in the States, MAGA is really for all intents and purposes. And Democrats are center right. They're not fucking radical left. Give me a break.
Oh,
I
really,
don't know. I
Frank?
didn't want to hijack your conversation, though. I'm gonna shut up.
Oh,
Since
yes,
when?
you did. Yes, you did. Don't you
Yeah.
lie. Come on.
I mean,
You're
Lisa
not
does
sitting
lie.
with strangers, PG.
Guys, you know what I
I
think I'm
lied.
gonna do? I'm gonna reset to try to get some more Yankee
More
Doodles
people?
in here.
Oh, man, I just worked so hard to get you 10,000 likes. My little
shit.
finger's broken.
Oh, don't
Sorry,
like when you're in the
what does that
box, eh,
do?
guys? Don't like when you're in
Why?
the box, because it
Why?
conflicts with the algorithm. Americans, for whatever, I don't know why, but it's always been kind of a thing where Americans are like, don't like in the box because it's like self promotion, and the algorithm
Oh.
doesn't like it. You know?
Apparently,
Yeah, I
TikTok
don't know
doesn't
why.
like
Well, now
you to
we know.
center yourself unless you're
Yeah,
me,
they
then I'm
just don't.
Teflon.
No,
Yeah, I don't
Teflon
know.
days are over. Your Teflon days are over, bitch.
I haven't
My
tested the
days
theory
are over.
because I don't get enough people in my live to test the theory. But there is a theory that people in the box shouldn't like.
Okay,
haven't
well,
tested
let's keep that in mind for the next time, and
I'm-
I'll reset. So we'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay, I'll listen because I'll leave you guys to it.
Self-assembling nanotechnology, which form computer chips all throughout their blood. So that's how they're paying with stuff.